Joyce and Mom, welcome. Mom is 85 years old, right? 90. Oh, Mom. I was thinking Mom around 85, right? Okay. Mom, 90 years old, okay.
85 after Nyungne.
You know, today, in today's world, there's a lot of technological development and, and so on. So, in today, people have a lot of material wealth, much more than before. So, the ones who have a lot of material, and one of their main thing is to hold on to this human body as long as possible. You see, no, and so anybody who can provide longevity, it's good business. So there's so much effort in anti-aging right now because there's business potential, right? It's purely driven by business potential. So one of the wonderful discovery that these medical science field has about anti-aging, they say it's the fasting. You see, they call it, they say the best anti-aging is intermittent fasting. So I guess kind of like Nyungne, you fast every other day. Yeah. And, it's very interesting. Their research shows something like if you fast, but they don't recommend dry fast. Ours is dry fast, right? They're like, you can drink liquid. But then you have just water or liquid, whatever, for several days, and the body resets and generates new stem cell and things like that. It's very interesting. Yeah. In terms of aging, there's the oxygen that you breathe, and then this is some kind of what they call an oxidation process that which keeps alive is the one that which also causes us to age. Interesting. So this anti-aging fasting thing is somehow, I think, how do you say, all the damages that get repaired. If we look from today's experience, it would be maybe almost like impossible to imagine. And that is next Buddha activity. Next Buddha, like Maitreya Buddha activity in Thousand Buddha biography. Next Buddha activity, if I'm not mistaken, I think that time people's lifespan, 80,000, I think. I think so, if I'm not mistaken, okay? And from today's point of view, it's almost like unimaginable, right? How can a human being live 80,000, right? But it's called, in Tibetan, Dzogden. The time is kind of like extremely fortunate time. Yeah. And Maitreya Buddha is going to have incredible activity. People will live very, very long and practice. And then it's also said that one of the obstacles of Maitreya Buddha follower would be renunciation of samsara. That would be a little bit, people understand Dharma, but it's very difficult to develop renunciation. Like your revulsion to samsara, because life is very good. A little bit problem like a God's realm problem. They will have because human life was very good. They wouldn't have issues like what we have today. You know, today, look, everybody can say, if I put it in very raw American terms, just life sucks. You know, it's like that, right? And then in Maitreya Buddha time is very good. Life doesn't suck, apparently, you know. And then followers have a hard time generating revulsion and renunciation, samsara, and so on. But then, of course, those who um, fortunate one will be able to. Shakyamuni Buddha's teaching amazing. Huh? Shakyamuni Buddha decided to have his enlightenment activity in one of the most difficult times in the earth. This is Buddha's vow, you know. And so there's a belief in Buddhism that Shakyamuni Buddha, among all Buddha, was one of the particularly courageous Buddha, courageous Bodhisattva he was. You know, and he always decided to actually take task. It's whatever the most difficult one, hardest one, most thing that, you know, I want to be the one who's do that. You know, so like Shakyamuni Buddha activity happened 2,600 years ago. Time was right for Shakyamuni Buddha's teaching, but from the point of view of Buddha activities, it was one of difficult time. People's lifespan was short, you know, and things like that. And then he courageously decided to have enlightened activity in time like that. This is a Buddhist belief. Mahayana and Vajrayana Buddhist belief. Theravada would not understand that, would not believe that, things like that. And there's also understanding in Buddhist teaching that Maitreya Bodhisattva and Shakyamuni Bodhisattva, actually Maitreya Bodhisattva generated bodhicitta before Shakyamuni Buddha. You know, then Shakyamuni Buddha was after later. But once Shakyamuni Buddha did generate bodhicitta, he was much more courageous. So then he ended up become Buddha, become Buddha and have Buddha activity, you know, faster than Maitreya Buddha did. So Maitreya Buddha is next, you know. Interesting, huh? Things like that, all kind of things. All Buddhas, all Bodhisattvas, they're all unique and they're all different, huh? Yeah. Our Alex was asking me a question. When we become Buddha, you know, this, I think, part of it probably coming from Vedanta thing. You know, actually, with all due respect, Vedanta philosophy of Brahma and everybody dissolved into universal consciousness type of thing, that's not fact. And doesn't happen now. It means that we're all dissolved in, and that's it. They're no longer individual self after that. You know, this is, how do you say, this belief will not cause any negativity, you know, but it's not correct. From Buddhist point of view, Buddha, everybody is unique, distinct Buddha. You know, when you become Buddha, when I become Buddha, I will be uniquely Buddha on my own rights, so to speak. You see, it's like that. I'm not going to disappear in the Shakyamuni Buddha and we are now same in, you know, there's no separation between us. We're the same in a sense that quality-wise. You see, Shakyamuni, whatever Shakyamuni Buddha has achieved, his perfect state of mind that he has, qualities that he has, I would have it too when I become a perfect Buddha. It's like that. So is everybody else who's in, you know. This is the thing. Yeah. Everybody will be distinct Buddha in its own rights and based on its own bodhisattva vows and practices and efforts that it made, like Shakyamuni Buddha's story, like Maitreya Buddha's story, like that, you know. Yeah. See, that's why there's so many different kinds of Buddha, because so many different great beings have made so many different types of vows and aspirations and so on for the benefit of all beings. We are doing it too. You see, when we read Resolve to Practice Excellence, every time we read, every one of us will have a very unique, aspiration, unique thinking, and so on, similar to that of everybody else. But then there will be something unique of our own once we truly start to understand how things work, then we will have our own aspiration, pure aspiration, our own courage, determination, and walk the spiritual path based on our own journey and experience, make special, unique vows and things like that. Yeah. So when we become Buddha, it's not that we become nothing. There's that accusation against Buddhists not understanding that you once you achieve nirvana, then you disappear. Yeah. Actually, this is, you see, very important. When you say Buddha, you know, literally means awaken. Awaken, you see? See? And then connotation is not just awaken, but complete awaken is Buddha. Completion, totality, total awakening, complete awakening, perfectly awakening. This is the understanding you have to, Buddha. Not disappear away. No, fully, completely, totally awake and present for the benefit of all beings. Not like, oh, he's gone now, disappeared. The terms like one thus gone beyond means gone beyond samsara. That's all it means. It doesn't mean gone to nothingness. Yeah, yeah. The teaching of emptiness should not be misconstrued and misunderstood as a nothingness. Nothing. It should be rather understood as when Buddha says emptiness, he doesn't mean phenomena is thing. It's not a particular thing. No things. It's not nothing, but no things. This would be the correct way of understanding. See? Yeah. You see, like I mentioned many times, form is emptiness. Emptiness itself is form, it's union. Understanding union is, final correct view, huh? Yeah. Many of the people who into this Parsangika philosophy, emphasis on emptiness aspects of the mind, sometimes, without understanding some attachment to their own tradition and lineage, they think emphasizing an emptiness aspect alone is the ultimate view. No, it's not actually. It's the union is the ultimate view. Emptiness and form, union, inseparability. This is the correct view, ultimately. Yeah. Yeah. If you understand emptiness nature, you understand completely correctly the most important, first step, most important part of existence, our own self, and that is emptiness nature, our own mind. But mind is more than just emptiness alone. It's very clear. You see, very clearly manifesting. You see, yeah. And there's a cognition there. You see, these are all mind's quality. And emptiness is not the only mind's quality. It's one aspect of mind quality. But I would say, and all the enlightened master will say, and that is, that's actually most important aspect of your mind, first step to know. Because not knowing that is where the grasping comes from, big time. When you understand emptiness nature of mind, then you have a chance to not to grasp onto things. That's why emphasis on emptiness, step one, very important, is because of that. Okay? Yeah. Emptiness, emptiness, and emptiness. Are you sick and tired of emptiness? It's a profound, beautiful doctrine. our great master Nagarjuna. You know, many Buddhists would say he's second only to Buddha. You know, actually you can give Nagarjuna that title. He was that great. And there were many, many other completely enlightened beings like Nagarjuna. But he's so great in a sense that how do you say, presented, how he presented Buddha's teaching, which were not easy to understand, and volumes of teaching. And so he abbreviated them in just a short text, and then make everybody understand. This, from that point of view, Nagarjuna played one of the greatest role in Buddha Dharma in terms of explaining Buddha's teaching and preserving and so on. Philosophical aspects of Buddhism. One of the very famous thing that Nagarjuna said is those who doubt emptiness. Initially you don't know anything, and then most of the religious tenets are on the theistic side, eternalistic side. This is easier to grasp. Even you're positive, virtuous, pure. Like, oh, everything must be real. That everything is real. God is real. He created the world is real. He created us. We are real. Truly, ultimately, inherently we exist. It's much easier to hold on, hang on, grasp on. And give their positive little things. Oh, it's all good, like that. Then it's very easy, right? So vast majority of the religious tenets on that side, okay, eternalistic side. Then there's the other extreme of that is nihilism, you know, nihilism. And today, many of nihilists say I'm agnostic and things like that. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It's just one or the other type of thing. Um, um, what I wanted to say, I kind of forgot what I wanted to make a point. It's yeah, it's the age thing. Memory lapses. Can you believe, when I do result practice excellence, sometimes something distraction, you know, and memory lapses right away. Then don't remember the next thing. What happened? It would never happen when you're young, This is different. I realize things that I've memorized since a childhood, even today, I don't have problem. It's just spontaneously comes. The ones you memorize later on, like result practice excellences, and when I'm not just adult, but completely adult. Yeah. Yeah, what I wanted to say, okay, I was going to make a point that Nagarjuna sitting now. You know, it's so easy to hold on, grasp on. Oh, so beautiful. God is beautiful. He made us beautiful. Love is beautiful. It's everything is beautiful. Like wow, it's so wonderful. So it's very positive thinking, and so on. But it's not the truth, That's the thing, And then if just thinking that solves all the problem, then it's wonderful. But it doesn't solve the problem. You still have issue. That's the thing, So grasping so powerful. So then when Nagarjuna trying to teach Buddha's teaching on emptiness aspect, which is a little difficult. And by the way, did Buddha himself say? No, I think it's Nagarjuna who said that at the beginners, if you don't understand emptiness teaching and you're difficult, it's better mm, not to how do you say involve in. If only when you're ready to understand, and then there's time to try and study and learn. But then he also said, this is the point that I want to make. One of the things he says, actually those who, had so much grasping and think everything good, and all of a sudden emptiness, and then it kind of shakes them up. Like, really? Emptiness? Truth is emptiness, empty. And Nagarjuna's point is, even you have a little doubt, suspicious of that truth. Really? Could the true nature of phenomena be emptiness? That doubt alone will shake your foundation of samsara. It's that powerful. That's my point. That's the point that I almost forgot. I wanted to make. But it came back. Memory came back. Okay. Yeah. 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 Grasping so powerful. The habit of grasping from time without beginning. Situation is beginningless, endless, Amazing, huh? Yeah. Emptiness, nature, mind. Yeah. Yeah. But then and there's a Buddhist teaching and tradition where Shakyamuni, Pratyekayana practitioner, and they go into Arhathood, you know. Arhats are incredible beings. But then if you really enter into Arhat, samadhi state of mind, it's literally means four destroyer. You manage to overcome all the afflictive enemies of afflictions and suffering, and suffering cease to exist. True cessation of suffering. You have achieved true inner peace. Then you enter in. When you achieve that, you enter in an inactive state of being. Yeah. Then there's no activity after that. You see, you're there. You sit, meditate deep inside, peacefully resting and meditating. There's a kind of complete contentment there, peace. No more suffering. Yeah. And this is the part that I think non-Buddhists use attack, like you become nothing, things like that. There's a very profound state of mind. Yeah. It's not Buddhahood, but it's very, very, very precious. Step one, enlightened mind. You out of samsara. How incredible. You see, if you understand the totality of the situation, it's so incredibly hard to get out of samsara, get out of this samsaric loop, this vicious cycle. Amazingly hard and difficult, and then you out. Amazing, huh? Yeah. From Bodhisattva teaching and these great arhats, eventually when they wake up from their samadhi, they will wake up at some point, and then they wake up, and then they will enter into Bodhisattva path. Then they will work through Bodhisattva yanas and finally become perfect Buddhas. Yeah.
For arhathood, if somebody, let's say, attains arhathood, and they have to work then on the bodhisattva path, they don't experience suffering when going through the bodhisattva path?
Yeah. No, they're not karmically stuck in samsara anymore, but they still have to make bodhisattva progress towards perfection and bodhisattva. Yeah. Now, um, um, yeah. So say like if so then arhats will wake up and then and then perhaps they could enter into, perhaps they can come to human realm where the Buddha Dharma activity is happening, and then particular Buddha was there, then they generate bodhisattva vows and things like that. And then another possibility would be something like perhaps they will go to Amitabha Buddha's Pure Land. They're pure being, they go. And then in Amitabha Buddha's Pure Land, Amitabha Buddha's Pure Land, whoever is born there will continually make spiritual progress. Yeah. The great thing about Amitabha Buddhist Pure Land is that it's a pure realm, so there's no suffering. But you will continually make spiritual progress. Yeah. So interesting. My precious enlightened guru, my root guru, and by the way, you all know I consider 16 Karmapa and His Holiness Taisatha Rinpoche my root guru too, right? But I have to distinguish one thing. In this life, you know, Kalu Rinpoche, previous Kalu Rinpoche, my root guru, this is the one guru that I owe the most. Yeah. So, my first root guru, in one of his saying that he said he will come back in the human form one more time. This is our young Rinpoche, young crazy Rinpoche. Okay, and one more time, and he said, "I shall liberate innumerable sentient beings." He said, "I shall help put innumerable sentient beings in the path of Buddha Dharma and help liberate them, and then thereafter I will go in Amitabha Buddhist Pure Land, and then in Amitabha Buddhist Pure Land I will finally demonstrate perfections." So actually, my guru really said that. So that means, after this, then he will be in Amitabha Buddhist Pure Land, and then, I myself consider my guru this great Bodhisattva. Great Bodhisattva in the Bodhisattva path means 8, 9, and 10th Bhumi Bodhisattvas are called great Bodhisattvas. Okay? From 1st to 7, incredible Bodhisattva. But in Buddhist teaching, they're not called great Bodhisattva. So they still have some minor issues they haven't overcome, actually, in other words. Really like that. They're enlightened Bodhisattvas, but they still have some minor issues they haven't overcome. Only when you enter an 8 Bodhisattva, then you overcome all these other issues. And then these 8, 9, and 10th Bhumi Bodhisattvas called great Bodhisattvas. And these Bodhisattvas are distinct quality that, lesser Bodhisattva did not have. And one of the most famous qualities, this is the quality called 4 types of fearlessness. Fearlessness is some, a very unique quality. These are qualities that only Buddhas have, yeah. And 10 powers and things like that talk about these great Bodhisattvas have. So I really consider my guru was, this level of being. And during a lifetime, when I was young, I didn't know much about it. Now I look back and I can see all the qualities, Now I look back and I can see, he was that being, it was that kind of being, And and so my point is, interest in that. Then from there, he's already this great Bodhisattva. So then next life in Amitabha Buddhist Pure Land, from his great Bodhisattvahood to perfection, Buddhahood itself. Yeah, like that. Amazing. Yeah. Perfect Buddhahood. Then after that, then will happen, sublime Nirmanakaya activity. See? Yeah. Our Shakyamuni Buddha's sublime Nirmanakaya activity. So amazing, huh? Amazing. You have to understand what constitutes perfection. See? Perfect being, Once in a while, some intelligent human beings are able to spot that, even non-Buddhist, perfect being, Yeah, sublime Nirmanakaya, supreme Nirmanakaya, supreme incarnation. This is what Buddha activity is. You know, um, some of you know I quite often mention one of my guru's student named Lama Tashi, American Lama called Lama Tashi. A lot of conversation with him. In my younger days, I haven't met Lama Tashi almost now 20, 30 years almost. And we used to have conversations, this, that. Lama Tashi was so amazed because he met 16 Karmapa. 16 Karmapa was incredible, incredible presence, so amazing. And then one day we're in a conversation about Buddha. Lama Tashi said, Buddha, like Karmapa, he said. Lama Tashi, that's the, like Karmapa. I said, no, Karmapa not Buddha. Karmapa, I'm not saying Karmapa's heart is not Buddha, but Karmapa, physical body activity, that's not Buddha activity. I told him, no. I told him, you see, no, Buddha, he means like historical Buddha. Karmapa is like historical Buddha. No, actually, no. Karmapa was as great as it can get for a non-supreme Nirmanakaya. Okay? Karmapa is as great as it can get for not a perfect form body, Buddha, you have to understand, perfect form, perfect speech, perfect mind, of course, flawless. Every way, shape, and form. Perfection. This is what you have to understand. Major marks and minor marks of perfection at the physical level, verbal level, and mind level. Buddha had that. This is what you see. Now you understand what perfect Buddha really means. Like form, body, perfect. So amazing. Huh? Okay. Yes.
Back to our initial question. Um, Once the Arhat is in the position to on the road to Bodhisattva, like with the stages of the suffering of suffering, all of those stages, are they aware of that there's still some suffering still in their consciousness?
Okay, I didn't, my hearing is funny. I can hear the sound, but not clearly. That's the thing. You see, that's the thing. So is your question is, like, when the Arhat, are they aware of three types of suffering? Is your question, are they aware of three types of suffering when they're in a deep Arhat peaceful state of mind? Or when they come out? Of course, when they come out, they will not suffer. They're already out of samsara. But they will have a clear knowledge. Now they're Bodhisattvas. You see? They will be Bodhisattva. Then clear understanding.
So that they don't go through the suffering of suffering.
They don't have to. They already, that part is done. They just realize that when they wake up, Buddhas wake them up, it says. Then they realize that they haven't achieved Buddhahood yet. They will just work through Bodhisattva path. Yeah.
So they're going through the levels, but they're not really.
Yeah, they, of course, now they woke up from their deep meditative state and they have a very clear understanding of what's going on, just like any other bodhisattvas would have, you know. Yeah. When they wake up, they will be bodhisattva. Because then they realize, oh, I need to work for the benefit of all sentient beings to achieve Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. I realize I haven't achieved perfection yet. Oh, I need to. And then they will understand the cause of perfection is bodhicitta. Then they will generate, then they will work through all six perfections and so on. Yeah. Suffering. Hmm.
Question is really short. Is it possible to receive a prediction from Amitabha Buddha about your future Buddhahood in this lifetime?
What?
Is it possible to receive a prediction from Amitabha Buddha about your future Buddhahood in this lifetime?
This lifetime? This lifetime? No. No, you have to actually be physically, you know, uh, unless unless you become a very advanced being in a way that you are able to, how do you say, have a vision of Amitabha Buddha, real vision happen. That in order for that to happen, you yourself have become quite pure. Otherwise, your own obscuration, defilement, prevent you from being able to perceive Amitabha. Yeah, yeah. Obstruction to pure phenomena experience, our own defilement, no? Veils and obscurations, defilement that covers, they can't see. There are many stories. Great beings also have something, and then, I saw something, but I couldn't see clearly. I see it, but it's there, but I couldn't see clearly. Then I realized I had some kind of obstacle. I need to remove that. There are many stories like that. See, something like, I could see Amitabha behind, but not clearly. Couldn't see clearly. There was something covering it. Then I realized it's my little problem, some obscurity. I had to remove that, Some stories like, see, once you become pure, then it clearly appears. Other pure beings will clearly appear in your own mind. And then your own mind becomes pure Buddha. You see the thing. Okay, we have to stop now.